Okay, this is notes for the Hovercraft lift fan. So far we have got, basically this is, I'll be using a 4-cylinder block I believe, but I've got a 3-cylinder block here, same crank pulley. What I've done is taken a, let me grab one here and show you. I've just taken a stock pulley, and forgive me here on the camera because I've got it zoomed in here. I've got the stock pulley here, and I've machined the front of it off. That's a cast pulley. I've machined it off and machined it down, and put an inset groove in here, and I've built an adapter to go to my lift fan here, which I'll show you in a second. But it's just a standard 5-bolt, and then it uses the key here, which is the key right here. We can zoom in and take a look at that really quick. And that's just a stock key that they use. And I assume it'll be plenty good, and it's just an assumption, but I think it'll work for me. So, what we're going to do here, I'll tip this motor a smidge. There we go. And this is the lift hand side, so this is the front crank timing belt side here. Let's see if the video's set up so you can see anything. Let's back out a little ways here. A little herky-jerky here on the camera because I got all the adjustments too tight. There we go. And a little zoom in, a little tilt. A little more zoom in. Okay, so I don't have an oil pump on the motor, and that's what would go there. And then obviously your disc would go right up to the back of the oil pump. I'll pull the front crank bolt out and show you what I've got. So basically you just have your oil pump. This would go on, I don't have a keyway in here by the way on the crankshaft, but it will have one when it's assembled obviously. But you put your disc on. It's the wavy disc, so you can see the side that's got the little cup to it, or you can see the teeth on it. Just want to make sure that those are going the right way. And then obviously your key here is going to be to the outside. And normally you'd slide that on the keyway itself. But I don't have the keyway in the crankshaft like I said. And then you can run it down tight. There we go. And it should be torqued and Loctited, but this is just want to show where I'm at. Then I'm going to switch to my 8mm socket. And if you'll note, the center of this has the key in it, or the slot for the key. And it fits right over the key that's there. You can see that there. And then, so this would be a 1993, 1994, and non-OBD2 95 timing belt gear. Previous to that, it would be 4 bolts with a key. I can't use one just because I've got this machine. I used a 5-bolt pulley when I did this. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to end up with a round tooth timing belt. What's up?
I think Jake buried his bone outside somewhere.
What's that?
Jake buried his bone. I seen him. He carried it out of the house.
You actually went out and buried it?
And then his nose is all dirty.
Oh yeah. He wouldn't want somebody to get his new beef bone.
Okay. I think that'll work for the rabbits.
Perfect. And we'll have rabbits on Wednesday. Okay. So now I've got that on there. What's that? Yeah, I'll go open up a beer here in just a minute. I was just doing a video and send it off to Harlan and Kurt. and the rest of the naysayers. So with that on there, again, that's just, I want to be real clear on that, guys. What I did is I machined just the front of the pulley off. So I took the air conditioner belt off and left myself so I could still left the alternator pulley in the same exact spot, so that won't affect the charging system on the Hovercraft. And then I had Blowers machine me up this for a few $100, but it's a solid aluminum dowel, and then I had to put dowel pins in it, or an adapter hub I should say, and it just bolts to the standard 3-bolt wing pattern, and that is the standard. Oh, then we made this pattern up around here, and the dowels are offset, so it only goes on one way, and everything has been balanced already. And it's fairly heavy. Dun, dun. And then it gets a little tricky from here, and in fact when I go to put the oil pump on, it might be some issues, but we're going to take, and it's a 24-inch fan. It's the one off the Prospector. Can't remember, we're going to just get the dowels lined up here, and I can see if all the bowls will line up, and then I know I'm there. Oh, and then I should say, so the hub portion here, it fits inside this recess, so there's no way it's coming loose. And that looks like, yeah, right there. So, and everything's really tight on the tolerances. So now that I do is I take lock washers and some stainless Allen head bolts and put them in from the back side here, and I'm just going to put a couple on here because I don't want it to fall off, so I might just put one. And there's no lock washer here, but normally we would have that lock washer. And that is going to be the lift fan. Let's back up so you can see the whole contraption now. And let me tip it forward. The fan falls forward, it's just because I don't have all the bolts in it. But it's not going to hit the ground. Just making sure it clears my table. Let me pull the mount out. Okay. So this is how we do it when we're poor. Oops. And I will come right around here so you can see the attachment. And so instead of putting a belt on here and going out and driving this, we're going to go direct. I'll keep the spray off the belts, and we won't have that slippage we've always run into. And then no mule drive where the fan is below the motor and we're running a belt and a mule which is over the top, and then 90 and then around and then back up, and like a Corvair engine or something. It's a shit design. Several $100s into the project, and that's as far as I've gotten. Okay, so then the next thing is I want to make sure I'm backed out all the way. I'm looking at the camera lens backwards in the thing, so you'll have to give me a little bit of a break here if I'm actually seeing that upside down. There we go, then we've got it flipped around there. Okay, so then I'm going to come around here to the back. Have to excuse me, I got a motor sitting on the floor here I got to ship off. So I've let's see, we'll zoom in so you can kind of see what I'm going to do here. How about like, oh, that might do it. So then I have one of my custom flywheels that I have done up. I cut this one a 1/4 inch too thin, and it doesn't work for a clutch assembly in a car anymore, but it had my name stamped in it, so I said, you know what, I'll use it. So what we're going to do is, the way it goes on the flywheel is exactly the way I made the front one, it fits over the top of the crankshaft. I was just trying to stick with all the industry standards, and so we're going to take and put that flywheel on. And when they're painted like this, you gotta play with them for a second. There you go. I don't want it falling off. And let me, there you go. And so we've got that going on. I'm gonna tip the motor forward a smidge. Shazam! And okay, so now we're just on basically the stock flywheel. I've got the 3 dowels for the clutch plate, and then this is set up to take a 3-cylinder, or, well, it's got 3-cylinder and 4-cylinder pressure plate holes in it, and obviously it's been machined for a bigger clutch kit, so we're going to use the bigger pattern. Not that it matters because it's not going in the car. And then I had this aluminum gear made up, and I have to find out if it's anodized or hardened, or if I need to harden it or whatnot. But it's an 80 tooth. We're going to go 2-to-1. The other gear for the top propeller shaft pillow blocks was a 40, and I have it over there. So I'm going to dowel pin these, and then drill out these 6 holes around the outside, and bolt this thing down completely flush. And probably to get you the right angle, we're going to come back over here and show you the side shot. So I can still install the bell housing piece. I'm pretty sure I can still machine it all out and get the starter motor in here with no problem at all. So the starter will hang right here, drive off this gear solid, and if I have to, when I use the pressure plate bolts here, I'll put shims underneath it, and I will shim this off to step it off. Originally I was going to use a smaller tooth one anyhow, and it was going to be inside the flywheel, and I was going to have to step it back so the chain didn't hit. And then I believe this is 40 or 50 chain we're using. And but yeah, so it'll dowel pin in the 3 spots, bolt down with 6 bolts, and I'll make the bell housing unit here, except and I'm not 100% sure how I'm doing that yet, but I'll make the starter mount here if I have to make it, and actually make it just bolt to the outside block bolts to the transmission. And I think that's pretty much it. Tell me what you think.